I still am secretly rooting for Mingyu and Jimin, Gyeo and Jumi. I think it's safe to say that these two formed a connection on their date. I don't think Jumi and Jiyoung give each other butterflies. Jumi is better for Gyeo, in my opinion. Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bree with an E. We're back with another Heart Signal review for episode 4. I've been reviewing Heart Signal season 4, talking about each episode and my reactions to what's happening in the house. So if you want to check out my previous video talking about episode 3, I'll link it somewhere on the screen so that you can click, and it'll also be linked in the description. But so for today's video, we have lots to discuss. Episode 4 came out, which means we got to see our first dates of the season, our first official dates of the season. We'll say we had Jimin paired with Hooshin, the new guy. We had Jiyoung paired with Mingyu, Jiwon paired with Jumi, and lastly we had Jumi again paired with Gyeo. But so we're going to be discussing every single date that took place, what happened on each date, each of the cute moments we saw, my favorite dates of the episode, and my least favorite dates of the episode. So if you're ready, then I'm ready. So let's just get into the video. So the order I figured we discuss each date is going from my favorite date of the episode to my least favorite date of the episode. For me, my favorite date of the episode was Gyeo and Jumi. After watching their date, I really just feel like I like them together. I like Gyeo better with Jumi than I like him with Jiyoung. With Jumi, the connection felt deeper. They'd only been on one date with each other and he was already crying. But so getting into the date, Gyeo, in the first portion of their date, Jumi was expressing to him how she came about choosing his gift and ultimately going on the date with him. She, out of all the girls, wanted his gift the most and wanted to specifically go on the date with him, as well as when she was going into describing, her appreciation for each of the subtle details that went into the gift. I think made Gyeo really appreciative and made his eyes sparkle towards Jumi and actually switch his perspective of her. He really kind of felt like, oh wow, she really pays attention, she's really appreciative of the small details, and she's very sentimental like I am. Especially when she gave a gift to Gyeo in return, all these photo cards she had of her memories. He started crying. Like, what? Gyeo was crying. I also felt like it was cute the way he was following her around on the rooftop of the church-like looking building, and they took so many pictures together. He took a lot of pictures of her. It was just a very, very cute, I want to say emotional date. Jumi is better for Gyeo, in my opinion. So getting into my second favorite date of the episode, we have Mingyu and Jiyoung. But I'd just first like to state that though I think Jiyoung and Mingyu look so cute together and that they do vibe and mesh well, I still am secretly rooting for Mingyu and Jimin. But yeah, as for Mingyu and Jiyoung, I think they had a really, really cute date as well, especially the portion where they were listening to music together. That felt like a really romantic and intimate setting for them, just to listen to music and often meet each other's gaze, talk about their favorite songs. It just felt like a very intimate and vulnerable moment in their date. Also, a big thing throughout their date, which I think revealed kind of a little bit of Mingyu's feelings, is he couldn't often find it within him to meet Jiyoung's gaze, couldn't look up at her and make eye contact with her. And he actually expressed on the third portion of their date, when Jiyoung was kind of going into, people don't look at you as much, it means that they maybe don't like you or aren't attracted to you. And Mingyu definitely made it a point to tell her the opposite, is that when people are kind of afraid or hesitant to make eye contact with a person, it's not because they don't like them, it's because it's the opposite. They do like them and they're trying to hide their feelings. And so I thought that was a really cute moment. They both kind of opened up a bit and were vulnerable about their feelings or the connection they felt between one another. And so Jiyoung, she expressed that this was the most fun she'd had, even though she'd been on a kind of a mini date with Gyeo and she went grocery shopping with him. This was the most fun she'd had with anyone in her time in the Heart Signal house, as well as the fact that when Mingyu mentioned Jimin a little bit on his date, he started talking about the first impressions of each of the other ladies in the house, and he kind of started talking a lot about Jimin and her charms especially. And so Jiyoung felt a little bit jealous. She wasn't excited, overjoyed to hear about Jimin because she's known that they've been very close in the past 2 days of the house. And then Mingyu also of course expressed the same, that this was the most fun he'd had, even though he'd been on quite a few outings with Jimin. So that was very telling as well, that this was the most fun he'd had. And then yeah, just the fact that he was having trouble making eye contact with her because he was trying to hide his feelings per se. I think it's safe to say that these two formed a connection on their date, and I think we can look to them furthering their connection more in these coming episodes. Jimin and Hooshin had my third favorite date, I guess, of the episode. I felt like they had a cute first date. It was different from the other dates, of course, in that Hooshin has just arrived at the house literally the other night. They didn't really have much of an idea of who each of each other was going into the date, as opposed to the other dates. They kind of had an idea of who each of each other was and were kind of able to go from there. For Hooshin and Jimin, this was kind of their first interactions with each other, solo conversation, all of that. There was some moments of silence or kind of awkwardness, but mostly they were just getting a feel for each other and learning more about each other. But one thing to note during the date is Jimin wasn't as bubbly. Like, I'm not saying she wasn't bubbly at all, but she wasn't as bubbly, as lively, as cutesy and full of Gyeo. She stated that she often gets quiet or silent around her crush and a little bit more nervous, as opposed to being very lively and energetic and bubbly. And so the fact that she kind of toned that down a bit for this date, I think was very telling. Hi, editing Bree here. I just want to say that for the remainder of this video, my mic cut out, and just so happens that I had my fan blasting and there was loud noises happening in the background. So if you must click off, I understand. It hurts my heart, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm so sorry for all of the background noise. And then also my light ring at the end changed light settings, so the lighting changes weirdly and it's just a mess. I'm sorry, this last portion of the video, it gave me a headache. I'm sorry. That's all. I just wanted to warn you for the abrupt change that's about to happen in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. So getting into my least favorite date of the day, I would have to say it was Jumi and Jiwon's date. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think Jumi and Jiwon give each other butterflies. Throughout their date, I was kind of searching for a cute moment to happen throughout their date, but it never really came. They had a very comfortable conversation about their careers, which I feel like that's just not a first date topic in my opinion. It's maybe something that could be grazed over, but they spent a lot of time talking about it, and so it felt like a comfortable conversation. It felt like a friendly conversation. The date just felt very platonic even. But maybe that's just me again, but I do think that Jumi and Jiwon are just friends at the moment. I do think they are similar and have similar interests. I don't see a romantic connection there. They didn't really go into deeper talk or deeper conversation that caused them to have this huge emotional tie or connection in the end. And neither of the two I felt were flirting with each other throughout the date. It just felt, you know, comfortable, casual. It just felt friendly. So I think for them, they were my least favorite date of the night because it just felt like there was no romantic connection there. And so that completes my discussion over the dates that happened in this episode. Some of my favorite dates, my least favorite dates, some cute moments, and kind of dull moments we saw on each date. But so for this episode, I don't think it's necessary to talk about the heart signal text sent at the end of the night because each couple that went on a date together sent a heart signal text to each other. So we don't really need to discuss that. We can talk about our predictions for next week's episode. And it looks like the way they framed it, that there is a bit of a love triangle forming between Jimin, Mingyu, and Jiyoung. So in the trailer for the next episode, we saw kind of Jimin feeling a little bit down that Jiwon, after all this time, hasn't, you know, shown even a little bit interest. So I think we'll see her in the next episode start analyzing her relationships and connections with all the men throughout the house and see that, you know, her and Mingyu have had a lot of interactions together, have had the most moments together, that I feel like she'll start to maybe see all of Mingyu's efforts and maybe then realize maybe there is a connection there that she can explore, should explore, because she's written him off, I think, for the past episodes and has been strictly focused on Jiwon. So I think in the next episode we'll see her analyze those feelings and lead with them, hopefully. And then it seems Mingyu is caught in the middle. Definitely has feelings and attraction toward Jimin. He definitely has feelings now and attraction toward Jiyoung after their first date. So I'm interested to see where his true feelings lie at the end of the episode or just throughout the series even further. Jimin and Mingyu supremacy over here. So it'll be interesting watching the next episode. It looks like they have a fun next episode planned. There's a lot of interactions we can look forward to. So hopefully we'll get some conversations between seeing people we haven't seen really conversate before. So yeah, that completes my review for episode 4. We talked about the dates, we talked about the heart signal text, and at the end we talked about predictions for episode 5. Let me know what was your favorite date of the night. Like I said, who did you feel like had the strongest connection or the best kind of date idea? What was your least favorite date? Who did you think didn't have as much of a connection? But so yeah, with that being said guys, I thank you so much for watching to the end. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see more in this series of me discussing each episode, as well as subscribe so you can be notified every time I post. And with that being said guys, I thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!